Thank you, sir.
कीप रिकॉर्डिंग जस्ट हो
Sir, Dr. Vay Gupta.
जब खत्म हो जाए तब बता दें.
Sorry, you must leave, sir. Dr. Vay Gupta.
This is just at the nick of time, actually. I just entered the hall, in fact, the conference area. So this is the case where small learning. I mean, it caused a little adrenaline flowing into my nerves and the arteries while doing the case in the late evening. So that's why I thought of presenting this case. So you have okay. So this is a case of chronic total occlusion of a patient, just 45-year-old female, and diabetic with history of angina or exertion, class 3 angina. There was no doubt that she requires revascularization. Echo was 25% EF, and of course regional wall motion abnormality presents. RV was okay. We were always wondering why this patient is not having major symptom of heart failure, despite I think it was just something that patient was fully compensated. Angiography revealed severe triple vessel disease with CTO of LCX and RCA both, and complex bifurcating stenosis in LAD and large diagonal. It was clearly a bypass surgery case. Patient was by bypass surgery. Patient continued to avoid surgery for a long time. She was 45-year-old female, and the family was not ready for bypass. And she was rather, except for mild, dyspnea on exertion and angina equivalent coming off and on. This patient required CABG because of possibility of increasing the LV ejection fraction. Angina episode recently increased. Angiography repeated in March 24 revealed similar findings. Mild increase in the stenosis in LAD, which was causing more angina, but we wanted to do complete revascularization. Stage angioplasty was planned with written informed consent of complex PTCA. RCC2 planned with the first sitting, and later LAD LCX was discussed. If not successful, would keep her on medical treatment because she was absolutely not ready for this. You can see the major problem in the coronary arteries. Left plane is normal. That's the only good point. This CTO circumflex does not seem to be very difficult. But the problem was the bifurcating LAD with the almost parallel LAD diagonal, huge diagonal, and so this was, we were not willing to do this. And so this was right coronary artery statting. I was trying to tell you that there may be some pitfalls, and sometimes you learn from your mistakes while doing the case. So patient refused bypass. PTC of RCA was attempted. Whisper guide wire, of course, I knew that it will not go. This is my choice of wire always in almost of my patients. But sometimes it really slips down. It did not, despite the balloon support. Gaia guide wire says, so, sorry for the spelling mistake. You could cross the lesion, but with difficulty. But I was successful in about 5 minutes. It was okay. We were very happy. Pre-dilatation was done with 1 millimeter, 1.5, 2 millimeter balloons. And we found that the flow was restored. I think there was some mistake at this point of time in my assessment. And flow was restored. We gave Nicorandil. We were happy that we are okay. So we tried to deploy the stent in the mid to distal RCA, 2.25 into 22 orthoremission from Biotronic. And we found the proximal RC was to be planned, but flow after the deployment of stent in the distal area was not adequate. Multiple injections of nitroglycerin and Nicorandil failed to improve the result. Proximal RC was to be planned, but flow was not there. Dye staining a distal RCA, and there was hardly any flow. Possible intramural dissection, but I had not taken my balloon at that point of time. So I was really wondering how this dissection happened, whether this is actually dissection or it was actually disease which was presenting there. Patient was hemodynamically stable with the evening 8 p.m., 7 p.m. We thought that with the Gaia wire, actually the visualization is not that much because it's a very radio opaque wire. So we wanted to cross with another wire, whisper wire, tried softer wire, did not cross at all. Fortunately, but patient remained stable. That was not a problem at all. So we decided to proceed with the Gaia guide wire only. We did the pre-dilatation distal segment with 1.5 balloon, and then deployment of long stent, thinking that this could be a dissection, and with the Zines 2 millimeter, 38 millimeter, very small vessel, because we were not able to see and visualize the size of the artery, so we took 2 millimeter overlapping stent, and of course fortunately the nice flow established, and it was a big relief. And then, of course, the things were not so difficult. Proximal RCA need to be stented, and with 2.25 into 3.5. I mean, the assessment, whether it was 2.5 is vessel or 2.25 is no, but of course we went to the high pressures and we gained about 2.5 millimeter diameter. And this was almost the final result. Flow after Nicorandil is perfectly all right. We're still waiting for CTO of circumflex, and then of course we'll plan for the LAD. Patient is reasonably stable for this. So what are the lessons actually learned? This was the 45, just to summarize, 45-year-old diabetic female with severe TVD with 2 CTO completely refused bypass surgery, posterior procedure of RC CTO first and then complex PCI of LAD in separate sitting. Ischemic cardiomyopathy, treated successfully PCI 12. Hiccups of distal decision, no flow managed with another distal stent. RC is fully cobalt chromalized but with Dimitri flow, and 2 to 3 months clinical practice is satisfactory. So my question with myself was whether this patient had a dissection or it was a disease. I'm not still able to do. Maybe the panelists may answer this question. But of course the stent here was able to completely do this. Because when I was doing pre-dilation, we did not take the balloon at all to the distal area. This was my memory says. So why this patient should have dissection if there was a flow earlier, but we were not sure. Maybe it was just a disease, but there was dye staining. So we were not very sure, but all cases are learning. I mean, sometimes you have to keep learning, to discuss with the colleagues and find out what is the possible reason. But finally, we were successful in having a very nice flow. And so, if you can see, this is the time where we had the first post-dilatation, and then at that time I planned to do this stent. Maybe the flow was not here actually adequate. I could have waited and started putting the stent right from here. That was my mistake, I would say, but I was thinking that the flow will come back because this was the lesion here. CTO, if you see, if you see the first injection, if you see the first one before crossing, if you see this one, there was a reasonably good flow in the distal segment. I mean, so this was the only area where we would need to stent. That is why we went with our plan, that once we cross it here, we'll put a stent here and then we'll see the stenting here and we'll assess the thing. But the flow was completely abolished after putting the stent in the mid segment. So I'm still not able to understand why this area became worse, or maybe this was a big lesion, but why the dye staining, which was not there at all, happened at the time. But finally we were successful, and I'm very happy that patient did well finally. And at that point of time, when I was thinking of changing the wire, the technicians came, why don't you do with the same wire? You will not be able to do it because there is a dissection. Maybe the balloon might have gone there, but I completely don't remember, and I will not do it because I'm very, very cautious operator as such, and I remember the things. Maybe some panelists may throw some light on this case. Otherwise, it went off well, and we are very happy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Vivek Gupta. Very educational points case you presented. Dr. Raj.
Any comments from your side rather than?
Yes. Excellent case. Only thing, this patient
Can you speak louder?
This patient had a milieu for no reflow, LV dysfunction, EF 25%. So whatever dye staining was seen is because of no reflow, because of elevated end-diastolic pressure.
That means it was rather a no reflow which was, and the dye staining was because of that only.
Elevated end-diastolic pressure, antegrade perfusion may not be there. And so this patient ideally should have had an intrahepatic balloon pump or something as a...
Sorry, what's the question?
Intrahepatic balloon pump.
Balloon pump was not required actually. This patient had a hemodynamically good normal functions.
EF of 25% and...
I think
other vessels are diseased also.
You are right.
LAD is disease, circle total.
Good point to comment because normally I don't... there are people who avoid balloon pump. I am the person who do not avoid balloon pump. If it is very... I think you're right. If the balloon pump, other than the pacemaker, temporary pacemaker, which we had put it as a precautionary measure.
You have a LAD, it's a diffuse disease, circ is totally uploaded.
But do you think that even with the blood pressure of 120, 30, 40, IBP should be a choice? I mean, this is a small grey area where a lot of people would not like...
I'll tell you why IVP is required. The idea of putting IVP is to reduce the end-diastolic pressure, reduce the EDP in the left ventricle. So you won't get a no reflow, which you had in this case. It also supports suppose you have a dissection and you have no reflow. You have all the 3 vessels are completely blocked.
Point taken, yes, point taken, yeah. I always want to have it. Especially in a very severe LV dysfunction. You never know when the patient will collapse, and if you have this thing, I think it's a point well taken, yeah.
Sir, have you considered intravascular ultrasound?
I was, it's a pretty thing that, at what point you would like to do? I was, at the
you
time
are
when
in a
there was no
dilemma,
reflow
is
at
it?
that point of time.
No, before that you are in thinking, is it a false human or intramural hematoma?
But the time when you have no reflow, you could have crossed with the virus and seen whether it was a dissection or it was a mural or it was a...
Yeah, that's
Yes,
what
this is a good point, but we did not do it at that time.
Sir, overall, of course, too much learning from this case. Only thing that I would say that when you were doing your case with Gaia wire,
Can you make it louder, yeah?
yeah, when you were using Gaia wire, Gaia Cyclin, I believe, then probably we could change to a safer wire with a microcatheter or something. I mean, you were trying to negotiate another wire,
Yeah, that is
probably
yeah,
parallel to
that's why
this
it wasn't
wire.
the case. With the microcatheter, we could have changed it and possibly the visualization would have been better. I tried without microcatheter for a while. I thought I would be successful, but I was not. A microcatheter could have been used. 8 p.m., no support from junior. The things do not come to mind easily. Yeah.
Now, Polo, I know that juniors, you may not get
You know that
support.
system, eh? But of course, microcatheter you could have changed immediately. It would have been a 1 minute procedure of putting a microcatheter, changing with the whisper wire which we had on the table, or any other wire for that matter, a softer wire and less radio opaque wire. The thing would have been little easier because to manage when you are 8 p.m. and you are not able to cross and you have no reflow, patient stable still, but you are still in higher delay at that point of time.
Yes,
Because
as
you may land up with a failed case and then of course...
No, it won't fail. I will tell the reasons. As Dr. Vivek Gupta is very notorious for giving educational points of this case with challenges and magical points. Very nice case he presented. 2-3 important suggestions actually in this given case to reduce your stress levels. As Dr. Rajesh already told, the first and foremost is CVLV dysfunction, other vessels ischemic, always better have a hemodynamic support like IABP. That is one. And second important things, very important, distally, if you carefully see the proximal very tight CTO lesion and distally also tight lesion is there at the crux between the PDA as well as the distal RCA. So in this given case, after having crossing with the hard wire, intentional intermediate fluid, Gaia 2 cross in the, or Gaia 3? Gaia 2 means intermediate fluid wire. Once it was crossed, this can enter into the false human or true false true or distal tight lesions. These are the differential diagnosis whenever after opening the balloon no flow phenomena occurs apart from the increased LVDP. So the solution is, one is the
changing to the
radio
softer
big wire
wire.
can be changed because already your microcatheter balloon was crossed. Second one is IVAS, intravascular imaging, that madam already described. So these are the things which can explain these neurophilia phenomena. And of course, ultimately, once you cross the distal crux lesion, you got the flows. That's why definitely the intention wire is in the true lumen.
But I was
But the thing
completely
is,
sure that
once you first you covered the stent with a distal tight lesion, so many times you have seen in the primary angioplasty. So once the distal lesion, as long as it is there, whatever they do in the proximal culprit lesion, the flow won't be established. You always struggle, no flow phenomena, distal lesion. Once opening distal lesion, if you open, then the flows will start. In this case, the same thing
no,
happened.
that's what I'm saying. The distal part of the vessel, if you see the first
That's why
view,
it's the
you
second
have-
stent, once you cross the distal tight lesion at the crux, then the flow established. Till that you have struggled a lot.
No, the wire was already distally beyond the crux.
Wire is there, but that lesion is not opened up. Once you put the
tight
Jane
lesion maybe, yeah,
Sierra,
it
once you put the Jane
was
Sierra
very-
and open the distal crux lesion, then the flow established. That's why if you put the mid-segment lesion stent, the flow did not establish. You have struggled.
Only after putting the distal
Yes,
stent, the flow
crux,
was-
exactly. The distal tight lesion is the crux for this no flow phenomenon actually in this given case. That's why I told confidently no complication will occur in this case because it is in
now I simplify this case because once you had the Gaia guide wire and there was such a tight stenosis.
Yes.
There was no flow.
Yes.
And it was earlier
Because
seen
of the distal
flow-
tight lesion.
Very
That
distal
is in the
tight
crux.
lesion. But
If
why
you
the guy
carefully
was staining? That was something which
No,
was,
if the no flow phenomena occur, distal, the staining will persist.
staining will happen.
That's all.
That means there
But
was no
anyway,
dissection.
very, very good educational points of case in
Right.
your given case.
Good. Yeah.
Right? Anything?
Sir, I want to add one thing. As I just gave an idea that once you crossed with Gaia wire, I suggested microcatheter. One more thing which we can do after putting the microcatheter, when we take out the Gaia wire, you can give just 3 ml contrast in the distal artery. So it
Of
will,
course, yeah, that can be done.
no,
Yeah.
with 3 ml you can give.
Rather than giving the contrast, what you can do, you can suck the actually blood. That is the thing.
Through the microcatheter.
Because if it is in the false lumen, you will enlarge the false lumen, the true lumen will collapse. That's why you should be careful. Suck the microcatheter blood. If the blood is coming, so you are 100% confident is in the true lumen. That's all.
Sir, whenever I would inject contrast in the distal artery, before injecting contrast, definitely I will make sure that the blood is coming and which is... Okay. You suggest that once you have blood is there, it means you are in the lumen? Okay. Okay, but probably for demonstrate or something. I don't know.
Thank you for the major points.
Thank you. Very, very good discussing and eye-opening case. And what are the differential diagnosis if no flow phenomena in the CBLB dysfunction and the wire went, whether it's false lumen or false true or distal lesion? What are the very excellent case? Thank you, Dr. Kuntaji.
Can I just add one thing? Okay.
You can add.
No, I was thinking, I have been using intra-aortic balloon pump quite a lot. Especially in acute MI condition, just for learning and discussion. 1 minute only. When I have a normal patient, even with the normal hemodynamics in acute MI, I always use intra-aortic balloon pump, and sometimes I use it before doing coronary angiogram, ST elevation. I say always have a balloon pump and then do coronary angiogram. You never know when the patient hemodynamic will collapse during the procedure. In this case, I did not think at all. Because the patient was rather hypertensive. But this is still a point. The patient can anytime can have hemodynamic collapse, and because of some complication.
No,
if you have balloon
some
pump,
proponents are there, some it is there. But here, luckily, the patient's filling pressures are not so high. Grade 1 diastolic dysfunction rather than grade 2 or grade 3. Having had grade 2, grade 3, you may go into LVF picture like also sometimes. But because the patient is stable in grade 1, yes, exactly. That's the only thing. To reduce our adherence, I just have to do something, especially stability dysfunction. Thank you. Stalin Rai is there. Stalin Rai, please.
Good morning to all. I will be presenting